supraventricular tachycardia.
Life Unscripted with Kevin Shook.
I was thinking of a car dealership in Greenville, Ohio.
SVG.
The SVG. I bought a Honda Ridgeline from them once. It was a good car. It was good.
I see you drive the presidential vehicle today.
I did not drive the gas guzzler. I have learned that I love the Tahoe a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah, I love my truck. Like I love the ability to tow and haul, and it's big, but it drinks gas like
how many miles per gallon?
like 8 to 10. Like 'cause it's got the bigger tires on it, so it guzzles it. So it's enjoyable, but you have to I'm thinking about getting a smart car and putting it in the bed. And then just dispatching it or whatever, releasing it.
Get a one wheel. I want to see you on a one wheel.
Oh my God, can I drive in the snow?
I mean, you could, but how's your health insurance? Because you're going to wreck.
It's expensive.
It's cheaper not to have it.
Dude, it's okay. We can go into that too if you want to have a conversation about that too.
We can go into that.
It's
Tell me about your health insurance.
Well, so I actually just got a hold of a former colleague of mine in the cell phone business, and she reached out to me just in a phone call. Or actually, I'm sorry, it was a Facebook Messenger, and she's selling private health insurance. So she wanted to see, hey, what are you using or whatever. I know you're an independent contractor. So kudos to those that still cold call, but aren't obnoxious with it. So that's a good thing. I respect that game, but to a limit. But anyway, So she went and I was like, here's what I got. Here's what I can't stand. I really didn't save much money, but I did gain the ability to get some dental and some vision. So that helped, I guess. It sucks. It's like $1,000 a month. And then there's a high deductible, not as high as it was, but it's just, not good. Not
Do you feel
good.
like you use your insurance?
No. It's basically if my heart were to explode. I hate to be blunt like that, but it's true. And then so I went to a podiatrist and he was like, look, man, he's like, it's cheaper for what you're doing. Cause I told him I'll self-pay and got some insoles. So I'm walking on sunshine, literally, but yeah, it's good. So, but it was going to be $800 if you had insurance, because the way the American healthcare system is, they build that much. But because you're self-pay, I was able to get them for $600 off, which is crazy. So it was $200.
So what do you think they bill the insurance company? Because I kind of had something similar the other day with vision. I'm freaking out because I'm this is going to be tremendously expensive to go get an eye exam and everything else. So I text Brittany, and that has Optivision out here, and I'm what kind of deal? Because I'm looking into the smart glasses, and I'm what would it take to get an exam? Thinking it'd be hundreds, and she's like, oh, it's just $75 if you're out of pocket.
No, if you're self-pay, it's substantially cheaper. It's just the way it's set up. But if you have to go and have an overnight stay in the ER or anything like that, right. I mean, I don't know.
That's where it's going to rack
Do they give you a menu?
An a la carte. Were they supposed to start listing it, itemizing it?
I don't know if that's dependent on the healthcare provider or whatever. But I don't know. It's a major problem. It's not been fixed. It's even worse now. And I feel the pinch being a private contractor or self-employed or whatever you want to call it. And the solutions there, because it's okay, well, if you earn a certain amount in your income, you're going to be penalized and pay more health insurance and then a higher deductible and all these things. And people are like, well, wait a minute, you're a little obese there, Jason. Your health insurance should be more. I know. But I also,
but they still go by BMI.
Yeah. Whatever.
Which is totally bogus.
I know. So it's I don't smoke. I don't consume alcohol like it's 1999.
Right. It's so if I smoked meth, I wouldn't be obese. You want me to do that?
But I'm okay, well, I'm doing my part, by contributing to the system essentially. And it's so now I've got to pay all this extra for just this healthcare. It's just can there be something in between? I'm okay paying something. I don't want to get the free ride. I don't want that. I'm willing to do that. And I understand that I'm working and I've got to pay into a system for doing so, but it's just, and I don't have the the experience, obviously, and working in that industry to know the specifics of it. But I feel like there could be ways to make it something where you like, I don't want to go and get checked on anything. I don't want to go to a checkup. I don't have a positive feeling when it comes towards, going to your visits. Not because I'm afraid.
Well, I think we called it white coat syndrome. So it's like as soon as you see somebody in a white coat, blood pressure's up, everything's up. Like, oh my God.
If I could go, it's cost for me. That's it.
Right.
That's the number one thing for me. I'm not afraid. You go and tell me I need to do this. I'll do these things if I need to take some medication or do whatever. But it really, to me, it comes down to simply, it's almost like a cost benefit analysis.
Right.
But then they're like, well, if you don't go, okay, well, I'm not going to burden my family with these insane medical bills, with, not paying healthcare or paying healthcare. So I'm just like, I'll have a catastrophe insurance, and that's what it is. I mean, it's ultimately what it is for me, the way I view it. I wish it was different, and hopefully that will be solved at some point in my lifetime. But there's a lot of greed, as we know.
Yeah, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. So you're a family of 4 still in the house?
4. We just had our oldest one just moved into our own place, so 3 now in the household.
But so you can still be on your insurance
until she's 26.
Whoa!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, so they can do that, which is nice.
That's a good deal. So, and your insurance is how much a month?
$1,000, right at $1,000. I think it's like
for 4 of you.
Yeah, I think it's actually 1,022 is what I think so. Which that's medical, dental, and vision.
If I was a responsible adult, I would probably have insurance. But obviously I've gone at life a little differently. So it's just me and my cat, but he's pretty healthy.
Well, that's good. You can get pet insurance too. I heard that's
well, yeah, but I really think insurance is a scam.
Oh no, I
think it's a monopoly.
I mean, until you need it, but then it's like, Chandra and I had the conversation before we decided to go with this new private plan. It was like, do we just risk it?
Right. Is it cheaper? Because a lot of at our local hospital, many years ago, I got punched in the eye, right? Mm-hmm. And so
I heard about that.
Yeah, so back in my drinking days. And it was right before my insurance kicked in, and it was crazy. But so that racked up a little bit of bill because I had to do a CT scan and everything else. Yeah. And it was right before my new insurance started. So, but where I'm getting at is, if you communicate with the said facility, wherever you're at, whatever service you provide, there's payment plans, and you can pay like very minimal per month as long as you're paying.
I know, but I don't want to be on the hook for anybody with that. I want to be done.
Well, you can pay up front if you got.
And that's where I'm like, okay, do I pay this? And I do for minor stuff, because I'm like, well, do I want to go ahead and contribute to this higher deductible? Do I not? It's just, we just come to the conclusion. It's like, I'm getting ready to turn 45. So I'm like, I've got to have something, because, if I don't and something happens, I mean, it's awful, so, it's
well, and with
not cool.
Like I said, with insurance, just my opinion, and we all have them. I think a lot of it is a scam and corporate greed in the insurance companies. So, that being said, that CEO.
United Healthcare.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was terrible.
That's super sad, because he had a family and everything else. And then, like tonight, this whole show is going to be about perspectives from all angles, right? And there's really no one solution for any of these issues.
No, because it'd already be figured out if it was. And there's enough smart people in this world that would do that, I think. But
I do think there is a lot of corruptness, and I do think there's a lot of corporate greed. A lot of these insurance companies making millions off the blue collar workers, billions, probably trillions off blue collar workers. and then denying claims to save people's lives. So when you push and push and push and push on someone that is already in severe pain, already has mental health problems, as soon as you hit the ticket, as soon as you start jacking with someone that has mental health problems, I'm sure you've probably faced it. I've faced it, and a majority of Americans have faced some type of mental health struggle. But when you're in a really, really, really bad spot, the worst is like the deepest, darkest bottom of the hole that it gets. You're either suicidal or homicidal or both.
Yeah.
And that's where that dude was, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Based on everything that, came out. And you don't know. You only know what the media shows you. But based on my opinion, that's where he was at. And that's what he did, So
it made him snap.
And I think there's a lot more Americans out there in that same spot that's looking at these companies like that.
Well, they are, and they're lost. And I mean, yes, I mean, I've had pain and dark places that I've been in my life, and everybody has their way. I mean, mine was finding faith in Jesus. That's without him, I'm cooked. I mean, that's 100%.
Right? You had to have, and even if you don't believe in God, which I do, but I'm just saying this because there are people that don't. They're atheists or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because I love to be able to agree to disagree with people, right?
Yeah.
So even if you don't believe in God or a higher level of anything, you gotta have faith in something.
I think it's a natural human thing for you to be able to pull towards something, and so something's tugging at you,
right?
Something, you feel that, and
right.
Whatever it is, whatever that emotion is, and you have to answer to that, and I don't know. It goes back to, again, like how I feel and just my faith, and like there's always a seat at that table.
You have to have something,
yeah,
because you, right when you're in that deepest, darkest spot, you have to have something in your mind that you can go to that gives you 1 ounce of hope,
and that was and will always be my hope when it comes to those things. So I mean, that's where people are at. There's somebody out there that's lost right now that's probably thinking like, oh man, but there's hope, there's an answer. Reach out and just ask, and put it out there. But there's a lot of situations with that, with the healthcare system, where people are frustrated. They have had a lot of, especially the health insurance system. I mean, it's not just health insurance. I mean, auto insurance, right? Your homeowner's insurance, all these costs have gone up substantially. Your property taxes, all that has led to this frustration and feeling of like, okay, there's not this amount of hope that we had before, and there's struggle. We've seen that. So I think that there's a lot of ways that people try to vent that anger in a certain way, and obviously violence isn't the answer.
No, it's not.
I think that what we typically go towards these more often, and as much as a wonderful thing as these are, it isolates us more, and the ability to kind of have a conversation and just talk to somebody, and not feel like you have to say something where you're not going to be vulnerable, how you feel, just putting it out there.
Letting your guard down.
It's hard, man. It is, because you don't, everybody's got an ego. We do. Even if we don't admit it, we've got something that's like kind of got us this way.
So when you mention all of the costs going up, it's kind of the cost of living, right?
It is. And I mean, everything. It's just, what not getting into the economics like I did last time when I was on this show, but the amount of money that we've printed as a country it's gone nuts. And it's not in the past 5 years or the past 8 years or the past 10. Right. This is a 40+ year problem.
We need to go back to George Washington.
Well, I mean,
when he said that the two-party system wasn't going to work.
Well, and I think once greed takes over, which again is another human thing that happens, it just causes. I mean, throughout history, you've got that. So, turning more within each other, and then I think the other thing too is like, and I've tried to take more of a role in this myself as I've getting older. Is have conversations with younger people. And don't let them feel like they're not worth anything and that there's not any hope. Just a little bit of encouragement. You don't have to go and give them the old, hey, great job, high five. None of that. I mean, that's fake. No one buys into that stuff. but be real with them. Because at one point, you know, you were an 18 or 19-year-old male that was trying to figure things out and trying to get somewhere and didn't know where you were or had a challenge or tried something and failed and all those things. So I think to have somebody that can have a conversation with you that you can just go into and just be like, you know what, that guy's pretty real. I mean, you know, having that talk, that means a lot.
So like empowering the youth.
It's big.
Basically.
It's big.
Yeah, because our youth is our future.
They are. And you know, now I was blessed to have different mentors throughout my life. Obviously, my biggest mentor was I had my father in my life, you know, but to have others that were there to help through that process, you know, that's something that I think we need to lean more into, because it's like, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? What do you want to put out there for people? How do you want to treat others? You know, just the golden rule.
And you got you lucked out. You got 2 really nice kids. You did.
I have wonderful daughters. Chandra and I were, very blessed. I'm not sure how they turned out as good as they did, considering how we were when we were younger. But they're great. They're focused, and you know, sometimes I have to catch myself too, because I'm like, okay, you know, they're not doing the same things that I did at 17, 18, 19, but I'm like, do I want them to do the same things that I did? Because that wasn't the right stuff. It was a different world. It was a different era.
Everything changes.
So, and they have to write their story and walk their walk and do their thing. So, you know, I'm more of kind of like, instead of like, do this, do that. Now I'm in that spot where I'm like, you know, I'm here to help you. If you need help, ask me. I'm always going to be there. I'm their dad, you know, so you just have to transition a little bit to a different level of communication and responsibility. And
so did you, as they were much younger, was it kind of lead by example? Was it a do this, do that? Was it kind of a mix of both when it comes to parenting?
It was definitely a mix, because, you know, one of the biggest things that we would always hammer home to both girls is the most important thing you can do in school is be good and learn. Because I wanted to have the behavior set, because we know many, many people who are extremely smart, but their behavior, it blows it for them, right? So like, you have to understand how to navigate society to an extent, but then also take the time when you're in school and learn. And you know, and I was always a big proponent too of, you know, when people are in high school and they're excelling and they're doing all these things, like, is that the end? Did you peak? And, you know, I used to use this phrase, it's not important what you do in high school, it's important what you do when you get out, because the rest of your life is there. So, you know, my kids obviously had to deal with going through COVID when they were in 6th and 8th grade, and then went into starting, you know, high school essentially with a new world, you know, how we communicated and how things were done and all that. So that was a change for them that I never had to experience. So try to work the angle of, okay, here's what I know. Here's the things that I learned. Here's the mistakes that I made, you know, here's where I had some success, but then also understanding that, you know, we're not living in the 90s anymore. So, you know, it's important that I take that ability to adapt as a father. And, I'd say that too.
It had to be challenging. I mean,
it is. And it still is, because, you know, now they're going into young adulthood.
Wait till you're grandpa.
Well, you know, one day maybe.
Look at Chandler back there shaking her head no.
You never know.
Oh, that'd be great though.
It will be. I mean,
I see, you know, I have friends that are grandparents. That's how old we are, is we have friends that are grandparents.
I know.
But, and they just, it's like a second wind for them, I guess you could say.
If it's meant to be, it'll happen, you know, but in time, I want them to enjoy life. And Chandra and I got married at 20 and 19. So we were very young, and we're still married, so that's good. And
knock on wood.
Right, knock on wood and all those good things.
Beating statistics, she said maybe next week.
I don't know. According to a TikTok that we did, I'm the worst guy in the world. We made a joke of a TikTok, right? Yeah. So basically, where I was just telling her she spent too much money at Aldi and went and did this shopping or whatever. Yeah. And it's got like 1 million views on it right now.
No way.
And like, these people are all just going like, you need to do this and do that. It's a joke, first off.
Oh, they thought you were serious.
So yeah, it's just interesting to see the responses and the dynamic in which people.
You triggered society with one TikTok.
And you can almost tell based off of how things go through. It's interesting.
And
we did it for fun. It was like a 5 minutes. It was her idea. Here's the crazy thing.
It's her fault.
And she's like,
that you
let's do this. And then she's like, make this message to go that route. So we make the message and it works.
Dang. And it got 1 million views. And they're
It's got like 1.5 million views right now when we walked in here. And I'm like, we're just doing it for fun. Like we had a TikTok, last January, I think, that got a lot. And then apparently we didn't do it the right way.
Was it the neighborhood group watch or something?
Yeah. And
shots fired.
Yeah. So we took one that someone else did, which people take the exact same thing and they'll just do their spin. These people threw a fit, started going, making posts and things like that. So we're like, I didn't know that I'm not supposed to do that, right? So like I deleted it because this is the kindness of my heart. I'm like, I don't want to upset you. I'm like, I just wanted to make something for fun. It had like 10 million views. And people are like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
So they were getting mad at you. But here's the thing. Not every video, it's not, and that's just, we're all inspired by something. And we all remix everyone's videos. They handle things differently.
As soon as
you put it out there.
Their emotions, their intelligence level, everybody handles things differently. Some people are entitled. Some people have different mindsets. I mean, it's everybody's shaped by their experiences.
And that's TikTok. That's a whole social thing. It's not like you're using their logo or using.
I know.
It's so not we obviously infringement.
We learned our lesson, and so when we make stuff, if it's an idea that we've created or an idea we've seen and we kind of put a spin on or whatever, sometimes we'll tag the creator, and say, hey, thanks for the inspiration or whatever. But like, just for fun. I mean, this is what we do for fun. Cause it's like, we don't have, we're not going to go, do the things we did, 25 years ago. We don't have this. We're tired. We don't do all
There's
that
laws
stuff.
against that now.
Well, some of those are actually legal now, but,
I know in Ohio.
Yeah. But anyway, no, we go and create TikToks, have fun. And it's just fun with what we do with the business too. Cause it's, you want to brand yourself. Right. Neither one of us have college degrees. All right. We self-started and did what we did. We work with the public. And it took a long time to, get to where we are, and we'll adapt and evolve more. I mean, that's the biggest thing to me that I took away from, working in the corporate world for almost 20 years is there was a phrase, and it was called adapt or die. And it's very true. And it means a lot for life. It means a lot for business. And, if you are not adapting throughout your life, throughout every phase, you will. That part of you, it's going to fade. And, so you have to be able to constantly adjust. But, going back to what I was saying earlier, I keep my center, is my faith.
Humans are the biggest adaptation organisms. I think that's the right word.
I think in today's world, you've got to adapt to, we're not going to grow a third arm.
We adapt to everything, though. Like we our body regulates to heat, cool, pain. Like we adapt to atrophy. If we didn't use a muscle, atrophy. If we use a muscle a lot, hypertrophy. We adapt to absolutely everything.
It's survival. I mean, that's, and it's not, living in the jungle anymore. You're living in the modern world. And not everybody gets the same start in life. Not everybody gets the same end, but you have to be able to create what you can, roll with things. And I think it comes down to too is, what's your influences. And if your influences are not good, you got to change your influences.
Like right now, we're under the influence of Celsius and liquid death.
Well, this is good.
We're not sponsored.
Whatever the orange flavor.
So what else is new? Because you haven't been up here in a while. Last time, was it the very last time when we were talking about presidential candidates?
Yeah, it was. It was 2024.
One of them clips took off, and you were talking about the type of presidential candidate that we really needed.
Oh yeah, like a JFK style figure or whatever. Man, it's so.
Someone else you mentioned.
It's so. It's crazy because I mean, speaking of adapting, like even when it comes to politics, like my mind, I can adapt to thinking of like, okay, if I can see things from a different way, you know, it doesn't have to be this way or that way. It's just,
well, I spent all day today trying to see something that we're going to talk about in like 5 different perspectives.
and I think that's important to be able to understand perspectives. And when you have your biggest influence is that device that you keep in your hand, you know, that's, and someone with an anonymous tag that's saying, I mean, like, that's like, there's not anything real that's with that. It's like, so are you a bot, you know, or are you, you know, I don't, you're
that can make you millions. That can also make you lose everything you own.
It can. Yeah, it can. You know, but it can also lead to you to use it as a tool. Right. And I think that's just like anything else. And you can get into the debate about any kind of weapon or whatever. Are you using it as a tool, right? Or are you using it for bad or for good? And then that kind of gets back into healthcare and mental health, which is obviously a major thing that has not been handled or attacked in this country in the manner in which it should. I hope that a younger generation that steps into leadership in this country sees, you know, the arguing and fighting and the shutdowns and the older presidents and all this that goes in. I hope that there's a big focus that goes on the major problem that we have with mental health. Because I think that will go a long way in the school systems, at workplace, with a lot of people. It's not a political speech by any stretch. I mean, it's just facts. You see it all day long, and so do I, and everybody else does. You know, people need somebody.
What do you think? What would be one of the first changes that would need to be made for a positive shift in mental health, knowing that there's a bazillion changes that need to be made? But what is Jason's opinions?
That's way above my pay grade.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It just based on your own life. How old are you?
I'll be 45 in December.
So 44.75 years on this earth. Your life experiences, what do you think are some of the things that contribute to poor mental health? And then what do you think are some things that might contribute to positive shift in mental health?
Well, I mean, your environment is the number one thing as you're younger, you know, what you're around. And no one's perfect, you know, so that's one. Your socioeconomical status or socio.
Mm-hmm. I have 3 words.
Socioeconomic status. I think so. Anyway, cut that part out.
No, you're
okay. So anyway, I think that your environment shapes a large part of it. I mean, that's for everyone. Your influences once you get to your teenage years, that's another one. Because once you leave the nest, if the nest is solid, right, then you've got, you know, you get into, and what I mean by leave it, you're not necessarily leaving home, but you're going into that middle school, high school criteria where you've got a lot of people there. So I think if you would say what's one thing you could do, I would really hammer down on the focus in public schools with a parent, teacher, staff relationship that is focused on the children itself in terms of, I guess, setting the example, being able to have a bigger bridge, and you need funding for that. And that's, you know, are we checking boxes? Again, it's above my pay grade, but it seems like there's a lot of box checking.
So school systems.
I would say school systems. Yeah.
See, that's the difference between me and you.
But I have kids, so
that's exactly what I was going to say. But they
start. I mean, you know, if the kids are in school right now, right? So those are your future leaders. Those are your future taxpayers. Those are your future, you know, everything. I mean, that's what comes in. So they're the future, you know, contributors to society. So if they're not getting it at home, they can only do so much in school. And then when you have overcrowded schools, you have overcrowded classrooms, you have underpaid teachers, significantly underpaid teachers. And this isn't an endorsement of paying anybody more money. I mean, the facts are, is like, you know, if you had really strong teachers when you were growing up, you know, they needed to get a pay raise for sure, because they dealt with a lot of knuckleheads themselves, and they dealt with good kids too, you know. And I mean, if it wasn't for solid, involved teachers, that's an influence that comes outside of the family. So it gives you another perspective, which is what we talked about there. I mean, I know a man now that was he was a middle school teacher of mine, and, I see him to this day, and like, he was an instrumental part in just me growing up, and I never hung out with him. I was just in class. Like, we didn't hang out as adults or anything like that, but just the way he treated me with respect as somebody that was like, I didn't grow up with a lot. But just, I was never looked upon as like I was lesser.
Right. No, that's good. We all have that one person in our life. But no, that's what I was going to say. The difference between me and you. You have kids. I don't have none that I know of.
Little kids.
Haven't checked the mail yet, but I see it from a different lens. Although you are absolutely correct. Do you need another round?
No, I'm good. I got half of that.
But you are right. It does start. It starts from the nest. Your household broken, not broken, that type of stuff. I'm over here. You're saying like socioeconomics.
You said it right.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man.
It's good.
Wow. I didn't even go to college either. People, places, things. So I was thinking about it from a broken adult standpoint. And that mental health system, because, that's all I've witnessed in life. I grew up in it as a kid and everything else all messed up, but, mental health, there's so many twists and turns and curves and dead ends. Sometimes you have to totally retract life, to get on the right path. But, it does start with the school systems, and I do think that we just check boxes, and I do think teachers are tremendously underpaid because they're also babysitters, and a lot of times they're babysitters to shithead kids that have broken homes. So they're also having to raise a child, actually many children, 20-something children, while they're also trying to teach them math. Sometimes they're the only person in that kid's life. They go home, parents are addicted, parents are absent, might have one parent, might be a foster home. They don't know when they're going to have to move again. So
you have to get them when they're young. I mean, that's the biggest thing, because you can't, someone who's set in their ways, I mean, if they're 25 years old, it's very difficult to say, hey, you can still do it. You can still change. And you can change at any point in your life. But like, the odds are a little bit,
it gets harder as you get older.
If you can go in with someone that's younger, and you can, and not just one person, if you can shape that as, hey, look, this is the direction we're going to go. This is the way that, we need to go because this is the right way to live life. Then you have the peer influence, and you can see, hey, rewards are happening based off of good behaviors. Rewards are happening based off of this
work ethic,
but also rewards are happening based off of helping others. And rewards are if you have somebody that's struggling, help your fellow man or your fellow woman. That's important.
Yeah. It's, there's just a lot of shifts that need to happen.
Got to start somewhere. And cause when you get into adults that are set in their ways, that have,
they're stubborn. We are stubborn.
Well, you have, a lot of wealth that's very stubborn, that wants to keep what they have. And I understand that. You work hard, and you should keep, what you've earned. But I think also there's a way that, again, what are you giving back to society that's not necessarily in a financial number, but more in like the equity of just being a good, decent human? Mm-hmm. And how are you, again, legacy leaving and things like that. I think that's something that we've lost over a generation. Is everybody perfect? No, we're an imperfect people that do imperfect things. That's humans.
And you talk about, I'm about to crack a cold one open. You talk about contributing to society. I think we have it wrong.
A menace to society?
No, I think we. I
was
think,
thinking a movie.
I think. Okay, after what I seen today.
Well, what did you see?
Well, let's start with. You could probably explain some things of why The government is been shut down.
You sent me a picture of like a lot of people that were in line.
Yes.
Okay. So
I did.
Which is obviously those folks are in line to be able to get, because there's a program out called SNAP, right? You have your notes on that.
I don't know. It's numbers.
I guess
SNAP / EBT.
I mean,
well, first let's start with
back and
let's start with the very kind-hearted business owners in this community that opened up their restaurants and shared all of this food to people.
Yeah.
Today was a big day. The local restaurants here was Firehouse Barbecue and Blues and Mancino's and Five Arches in Centerville. Sweet Blessings. Mm-hmm. I know that
there's others that we're missing too, I'm sure, but
yeah, there's
a whole list.
There was
online.
Like
you can post it in the comments.
Yeah, there was. Wayne County Tourism shared it. But the federal government has been shut down for, do you know how many days?
I feel like we're between 35 and 40, I think, which is one of the longest that we've ever had.
So
full transparency, I cut cable about 2 weeks ago, which is...
You still had cable?
Yeah, I know. I'm crazy. So I was
cable television.
Yes, I know.
Golly.
I know.
You got a landline too?
I do, and I wear a knit sweater and slippers at home. Yeah.
Hey, I wasn't going that far.
No offense to the knit sweater and slipper crew, but you know, yeah. So we cut that, and that's actually, you want to talk about mental health savings? That saved me a lot of anguish over the past couple of weeks. But so you just tune out a lot of the garbage. You know, the same thing.
Yeah, you get and you can find if you're looking for specific garbage, it's on any Hulu, Peacock.
No, I go on YouTube. You know, because you just want to learn things and watch weather. Whatever. God, it's boring. You watch the weather all day. Yeah, that's what I do.
There's been Sheriff Country. It's on Paramount Plus. That's a good. That's a good show to watch because you have to lose your mind in something for at least 30 minutes a day.
I got a list of
what you watch.
So of some of these restaurants that have contributed.
Okay, let's hear them.
So Carlo's Cuisine, Five Arch Brewing, The Firehouse, Blockhead Records, Mancino's, Lulu's Tacos, Taithara, and Yamato is what I have on what was just sent to me on a list. But before we get started on some of the other stuff, small businesses, right?
They just went above and beyond.
Well, and these people that own these businesses, all right, they pay more taxes than the person that gets a W-2. All right. So not only are they paying more taxes, they're paying private health insurance. They're doing these things for the most part, right? They are also, out of the kindness of their heart, pouring their own money, their own work, their own time into helping people. And so, I mean, where are we backwards where you don't, it's the billionaire's fault. Why does everything have to go? And I'm not a billionaire by any stretch, and I'm not a hater towards that. I mean, is what it is. That's happened for many years where you've had lots of people that's had humongous amounts of wealth. We're going to narrow our focus on one thing, which is not the answer. Again, we need to focus on all of us and come within. And how do you do that? Leadership, by little bits of people doing that. And these businesses are leading the way with doing those things. So the Better Homes and Gardens, who Chandra and I are affiliated with, they came to us and they said, hey, we want to contribute some money to some of these businesses that are doing that. And they asked if she and I would go and do that. So Better Homes and Gardens as a collective contributed several $100s to a couple of these businesses, right, to do that. So just because, we as a real estate brokerage felt it was very important to be able to help out because we're inspired by that, so, we can't go and make meals, but what we can do is we can, at least help with some finances and, and promote these businesses. And not only that, go in and patronize these businesses and tell new people that are coming to the city, hey, check this place out. People that we're working with. So every day-to-day conversations, hopefully that helps with building their business, building their brand, in the spirit of, how thoughtful and caring they were to be able to give back.
You You nailed it. And anything I would say just piggyback, but that's all we can do is they set aside politics.
Exactly.
They set aside any type of ill feelings they have against welfare, and just did what they felt was right. And it did help. It helped these recipients that have been out of SNAP or out of EBT.
It's happened fast. Both of our daughters work at Mancino's, and within the first 3 hours of them being open, they gave out 200 pizzas.
And the barbecue was
like 117. I think that was like
meals
by 3 o'clock.
Trays or meals.
Yeah, like by 3 o'clock. And so these folks are trying, but they're going to need more help from the public to be able, so if you have it,
the businesses.
The businesses. So if you as an individual have it, the ability to help,
go eat there.
Go eat there.
Friday night.
Spend money there.
Buy a record.
Buy something. Help them out. Share their Facebook post. Help them promote their brand. It's important because those are the people that are doing it. And that's not a knock to those that are working in some of the, the box stores or the chain restaurants or whatever. Right. They can't control that.
Well, yeah,
and I get
it's not. And half the time, whenever it's franchise, half the time
you're dealing with corporate.
Corporate doesn't even know. They're disconnected. Yeah. They don't even understand. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on locally. Nothing. But
you and I have had this conversation for years and years about expanding Richmond from within, and then that will attract from the outside.
Absolutely.
So it's like if you help these businesses and talk to people and help the people that are inside here now and make this place better, brighter, grow internally, that will be the biggest salesperson that you can ever have without having to go in and do anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's, this is coming from someone who has lived here my entire life. I was personally on food stamps growing up in the 80s with my parents. I remember going to Cox's grocery store on the west side of town, and my dad had the colorful, looking dollar bill. I'm like, Dad, that doesn't look like a dollar. I'm like, what is that? He's like, that's going to help us get food, Jay. He's like, but we're not going to do this forever.
Right.
He made sure to tell me that because my dad had pride and said, we're going to do, and he did. And he got out, we, got a new job, got on different places and went there and showed me that there's resilience even in the heat of despair and nothing being there. That was important because he could have turned and went a completely different way. And I'm grateful to God he didn't. I remember being in school and being on, programs where I was able to get reduced lunches and things like that. I mean, that's just what you did, but you got out of it to a certain point and you were always trying to do that. So those programs being there are so beneficial and so helpful, to people that need it and that do it. But instead of making it like almost like a lifestyle, I think that's where you can see a lot of people that may be afraid to admit that, but they want to agree. It's like, hey, this cannot be something that is generational. It needs to be something where, get in, get out and continue. But there's also, barriers that go into, hey, gosh, if I quit, staying on the program and I go get a job, it's going to be worse, and childcare. And there's all kinds of things that go into that. So, I mean, I'm not, naive to the fact that there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of details that you have to go in and really look at how, okay, does this better fit me and how is the system in place?
Right. Well, I mean, when I sent you that picture earlier, I was like kind of angry because I seen somebody there I know personally that just refuses to work, stays home, consumes a lot of alcohol, consumes a lot of cigarettes, but is raising children. So because of the way the federal government has this structured, she don't have to work. And so then I go down this rabbit hole online today, looking through all these resources, and of course using ChatGPT to pull from these resources, but then citing it back to make sure this is accurate information. I come up with some notes here. And usually this is Life Unscripted, but I wanted to make sure I get these numbers right because it's pretty alarming. So I looking back at this whole line of all these people, I think they're smarter than we are because they're not really cheating the system. The system is cheating us that work to contribute to the system, right? Mm-hmm. So we're actually the ones paying the stupidity tax because we think having good work ethic, okay, and we think working really hard to have nice stuff or stuff livable in and make sure our kids go to college or make sure this. We think that's the right idea, and it sounds like the right idea, but apparently not because we're tax to provide to this system. And when I say system, I'm not referring to the recipients of these benefits. I'm referring to the federal government.
The folks that made the laws that put these programs in place.
Our federal government. So there's that aspect that we're so stupid because we're contributing to society. So we need to quit doing that. Meanwhile, 2009 is a mark that I pulled, and our minimum wage. We go back to corporate greed. Okay, so let's go back to corporate greed. Not really the insurance industry, but just corporate greed. Think of some local manufacturing facilities. Put that in your head. Minimum wage is $7.25. Hasn't changed since 2009, right? But since 2009, the cost of living has went up roughly 50%. But our minimum wage in Indiana hasn't went up 50%.
No.
It stayed. So these people just staying at home, not working, and getting these benefits, they're actually kind of smart because if they were to go get a job, and most likely, some of my statistics down here, they don't have degrees, so they're not gonna slide into a $50 to $60 an hour job. So they're going to go get a minimum wage, if not a little more job. Plus, so this family particularly is a 4-people household, 2 kids, 2 adults. So they would need 17 to 18 hours, which would just be barely sustainable. But then if there was childcare factored into that, now they're back below. They're still eligible for the SNAP benefits because of that minimum wage being so low. So instead of legislation putting a law in to bring minimum wage back up, that gap is that SNAP EBT and that in Medicaid, and who's paying that? So we're paying.
Well, the business owners who are giving free stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the rest of the tax-paying citizens.
Right. So we're, as taxpayers, that has to pay a property tax, has to pay a tax on everything, tax. We're making up for what the corporations don't want to actually pay their employees. Yeah. So we're actually the stupid ones in this scenario because we're working too much.
I guess, I mean...
And until enough people decide...
Have enough of it.
Hey, let's stay at home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're getting
they're eventually... I mean, if the government's getting shut down and all the time, we're there.
Yeah.
We're there, basically.
It's close. I mean, I try to find it in my heart. Like if I can help someone, I will, because A, that's the right thing to do. But B, if I'm in that position, I would hope that I could get help.
That's the thing too. It's like how many are in these positions that can't get the help?
Well, and we talk about younger folks, and you're like, okay, you see some of this. The line is of people. It's like, okay, you go back, and your first thought is the food lines of the Great Depression. Right?
That's what it looked like.
And it's like the modern day, and
it was wrapped around the building.
Yes, like, and you're like, okay, you think about, okay, there's no jobs, there's no opportunities, there's nothing there. And then I look about, is that the truth? I think, is that the truth?
It's not the truth. It's because Manpower Richmond, mprichmond.com, plenty of jobs. I told Michael I was going to plug that in today because I've never seen a line like that at Manpower Richmond.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But the other side of it, what are those jobs paying?
Right.
And
does the system,
does it make up? Does it pay enough? Or are they still going to need that because there's corporate greed?
well, here's the other thing too, is like, okay, go to the senior citizen, the older person. And I'm starting to look at, like, obviously I don't believe that Social Security will be there for me or my wife when I'm 65. So in 20 years, it will not be there. I don't believe it. I'm just not expecting that as part of like my plan to be able to retire,
right?
Whatever. So the government puts, I think, and I could be wrong on this, but I feel like it's like the cutoff before you start getting taxed on your Social Security benefits is like $40,000 or $41,000, and I may be wrong on that. You'll have to check me on that. But when I was putting in numbers, you go on AI or anything that you got, and you're calculating, okay, I'd like to have this much in retirement. I'd like to do this. What can I do? Build me a plan. You're my financial advisor. Create the structure. Blah blah blah. Well, here's what you've got, Jason. You can make this much in retirement off Social Security, but if you make this much, then you have to start paying taxes on your Social Security money that you paid taxes on while you were working. So these people that are older right now, if they make more money, then it kicks them out of programs, right? It taxes them. And 41,000, the U.S. says that I think it's like a $1979 amount. That's like the median income of someone in literally 45 years ago. And it's not. I mean, $40,000 is not a lot of money, and people are not getting by with that.
No,
it's not.
According to this, a 60 to 65,000, two incomes is still eligible. Indiana's portion paying into this SNAP program is 1.5 to 1.8 billion every year, which comes down to $850 to $950 per year per person.
So when you have generations with an S of people that have had hard knocks and not getting opportunities, and the income gap has spread and spread, it doesn't take a genius to figure out why a lot of people are like, well, maybe I should give something a chance, like what probably is going to happen tomorrow in New York City, where they're going to likely elect an openly communist mayor who is wanting to do some serious overhauls to a system that, obviously it favors one, but what's it going, what's the trade-off going to be to the solution of electing someone that wants to do that? I mean, if that works in terms of he gets elected, and then another thing is that, the people that are business owners stay with it, that will be something that ripples throughout this country. And we don't know what that looks like. We can say it looks like in Russia or Cuba or whatever, but I'm not saying communism is a dangerous thing to, because then it's like, okay, well, if you're making a certain income and it's going to be taken away no matter what, like, are you going to be willing to put in the effort and the energy and time that you do to have 50% of the money that you make taken away? I mean, I don't like what point do people say, okay, it's not worth it?
That's where, we're getting at here.
That's the scary thing about society. So like, it goes back to that question you asked me, is like, what would be one thing you would do? I said, I think you've got to start at a younger age group, is like, this is not something that you're going to do, for your entire life. Climb out. Find there, your most valuable resource is, again, this device. You can go on Google Gemini, right? It's free. You can get a Google account for free, and you can ask it questions. I mean, you could probably go in there right now and be like, I have no money. I have no education. I have no car. How can I make some money? I do have a cell phone because because there's programs where you can get a cell phone with internet, right? Mm-hmm. So that's there, and it'll give you a list of different things you can do. I mean, your story, you didn't do this by going to
I was supposed to be a firefighter paramedic all my life.
So, and now you're running a media company, right? and you're great at it. So it's like, you're doing all these different things. How did you get into what did you do? Because did someone come to you and be like, hey, Kevin, let me teach you how to do all the things that you do?
No, I just realized like, well, for one, I was in public safety like all my life, firefighter, paramedic, EMT for many years. And then I just became passionate about cameras, drones. Your wife gave me my very first real estate job with the drone.
I remember that.
On 44 in Liberty.
This is another lifetime ago.
If I remember the numerics. 2017.
Yeah.
That's when I got my LLC. But I've always dabbled in entrepreneurship and stuff like that.
So you found it interesting, like it's something that.
Yeah, I found something that you have to find something.
What
that
gave
makes
you that spark?
It was a creative outlet. So, of course, I loved public safety and being able to serve others and stuff like that. And then I think that also taught me how to, I wouldn't say talk because I'm still like, but how to relate to people, how to be empathetic with people, and then how to understand what they need, whether they're dying or, from the paramedic side, or they need a new headshot or something like that. I understand their needs to provide a solution, right? But it was a creative outlet, and then times got real dark and addiction, alcohol, and all that good stuff. Don't recommend it.
But that's part of your story. And,
it is. And it's my why.
And we don't go in a straight line.
No, life
right?
is wild. So
right.
if there was like a little chart on this TV, it would go like here, and then you're going to go down a little bit. Yeah. And then your next up needs to be a little higher than your last.
Just when you think you're there, something else.
Yeah, and then you're going to come all the way down here and get kicked out of the chamber. And then you're going, woo!
Then you keep climbing, though. Yeah. So there's somebody that's going to watch this somewhere that's like, dude, this is not working for me, whatever.
You can get back in the chamber. Like, time heals.
Okay.
Time in making, like, the right decisions daily, making those little deposits, and knowing you're going to have bad days, but, like, how to handle those bad days and stuff like that.
So time, and that was a huge thing right there. So stay in the fight, right?
Right.
So,
like, don't
give up.
I could have moved away from here. Like when everything went south for me, well, I tell everybody where I really screwed up was transferring to Richmond in 2016. But if I didn't go through all of that suck, then we wouldn't be here hanging out.
Yeah. No, it's just the story.
But yeah, when I went through all of that and then everything went south, alcohol, all the instant gratification stuff, and end up lost in some random hotel room, and cops found me, and I was like, they could have just drugged me out and pulled me by my ears to the hospital across the street, but instead they just they had an officer outside like for 20, almost 30 something hours just to make sure I didn't leave. But I realized I realized then I needed to do something, obviously.
So then you found out
alcohol was that common denominator. Well, but it got better, right? But then it got a whole lot worse. And I remember it was really crazy. Trying to see where we were on time because but it got really, really, really crazy because, like I said, it goes up, down. Life is so freaking dynamic, so wild. So many, like I said earlier, you might get to a dead end and have to backtrack 20 years and try again, try a different route. But I was back up, and then alcohol on top of antidepressants, you're up.
Yep.
Because the antidepressants make, they might help you, but then you shouldn't mix alcohol. And then try to pop myself in my front yard one day or one night. Luckily, someone was there and all of that. They wrestled me, and it was a mess. But that I should have been dead. I shouldn't be here right now. I should be dead. That gave me a whole different. When I woke up the next day, I was in my bed. My toe was broke, and there was a 9mm bullet like laying next to my leg, and I'm like, That was it.
That was the moment.
That was the moment.
That was the moment.
Because a lot of people don't go to that extreme and get a second chance. No. There was a therapist that I had to talk to at Public Safety Medical. He was telling me there was like a poll taken of survivals from the Golden Gate Bridge.
I've seen a video of that one guy that jumped off there.
Yeah. So out of all of them that actually survived, it was like 96, 97% of them, because they pulled a lot of them, said that they instantly regretted it as soon as they jumped. So then they had to live in regret
for all that time.
That whole shit. So their life is like instantly flashing in front of them, and they're thinking about their kids and their wives and their husbands and everything as they're plummeting to their death. So
it's kind of hard to transition for that, but like you think about, and obviously the rate of suicide is much larger in males, young males.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, if you are, I mean, what is that? Do you think it's lack of having a purpose, a mission? I mean, there's things that are there, and that's getting in a subject that, again, I'm not by any stretch experienced or educated to speak on. I can only speak on just my experience of being a younger male. I've never gotten to that level. I've gotten in depression like any other person. But I think that just being able to have, you know, your mission, what you have, you know, this whole ecosystem of global media enterprise, right? So that's giving you something to, you know, to the goals to go after and the things to push for and the thing that you have. So if we are, you know, going back to looking on AI to find out, okay, what can I do for a job? What can I do? Things like that, you know, what do people do? I mean, what would somebody do that's like, okay, I'm struggling. I could stay and live in the system, right? Where I'm, you know, it's hopeless. It's nothing. And I'm looking at my son or daughter and, you know, this is what their life is going to be. Like, you know, you want to be that example that shines, says here to do something, but they just don't know where to start. You know, is that where somebody, you know, goes and creates a business, they go and they search things, they go like, what do they do?
You have, like I mentioned earlier, this can be the shittiest of the shittiest times that you're in personally, professionally, everything. Everything that encompasses your life is just an absolute, complete shit show. You have to have faith. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
You're going to want to give up. And right around the corner from that is success.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Say it, man. It's true. It is. It's right. And you are an example of that.
Well, and so I got a buddy right now that's, I don't even know if he's alive, because he doesn't have hope or faith in anything at all whatsoever except for alcohol. And he has a kid that still loves him and still cares about him and stuff like that. So it's like, dude, just think about like everything right now tremendously sucks for you, right? In your mind. We all have that time where no matter how positive things can be, those negatives just, the devil just wants to sit there on your shoulder and just tell you how horrible everything is. And you're just like, bah, and just close the blinds and not answer your phone.
You know, I was told a long time ago that nothing good lasts forever, nothing bad lasts forever.
Right.
And I think that goes into a philosophy that I've tried to take with my life, is that you want to have balance. And if you're putting so much time, worry, effort, and energy on this side of something, then you're unbalanced, right? So you've got to be able to do that. And I think getting into being a resource to be able to help people just stack a day one win. And maybe that's something that, you know, you could do for shorts or whatever. But just like, how do you stack a day one win? What do you, I mean, it could be as little as thing as like, hey, look, I'm going to set my alarm. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do this. And even if you don't have success in whatever that thing you're trying to do, you tried. And I think that, when you look at just in the big picture of, okay, whether it be I'm going to go apply for a job, or I'm going to go, you run a pressure washer that I can get, buy somewhere cheaper, or what, buy from a like a Facebook marketplace or whatever, and go do little things, whatever. I mean, just something simple. And if you have to get down that, where do you look at, like, when someone's got the opportunity to just take one step, like, what do they do? What would you say? Like, what do you think is one thing to do? Is it use the phone to go and search, to build a plan? Like, how do they do that? Like, is it YouTube? Is it?
Well, the first thing is make yourself one promise each day and stick to it.
Okay. So then you're building trust that you if you, like, maybe I'm not a trustworthy person.
You're starting to build belief in yourself and love yourself. Because, I mean, if you can't love yourself, no one else can love you. They can, but no one else can help you if you can't learn to love yourself. But, like, the set alarm, promise yourself you're going to get up when that alarm goes off. And I'm guilty of 5 alarms going off. Snooze, 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 snooze.
Somebody else is too.
Sometimes random. Do you ever accidentally, like, screenshot it too? Because you're like,
or I'll drop it on my face when I'm, like, holding the phone.
I got so many screenshots of my alarm button because I'm like
I know,
trying to shut it off.
Yeah.
But no, making yourself a promise in these, and it's all micro. And I'm guilty of not following through with it, but
we all are. We're all going to
just start the next day over.
One win a day. I think that's really a way of,
Well, I think it starts with what we put in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So alcohol obviously is not good.
Substances,
substance abuse.
What you're putting in front of your eyes.
Activities. Yeah. Your screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Try to, like, today, I was on one today, and I still am, because I actually got ahead on some things that I've been procrastinating, and it felt really good. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, when you get stuff done.
Hey, asshole, quit procrastinating and get shit done.
We deal with that in our business. It's
Yeah.
like, and we get to a point, too, where we're like, if you're not hearing no, or you're not failing forward, or just then you're not doing anything. You're not putting in effort. So it's like, I mean, if we get told no more in a day than we get told yes, it's a win. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you're trying.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's with anything. And you have to, set it in little pieces, because if you go back and say, okay, well, I'm going to make it happen for this entire year.
No, you're going to fail.
You got to.
It's like the gym thing. It's like,
how do you eat an
you
elephant
can't just
one bite
jump
at a time, right?
100% into the gym. And, everyone, a lot of people do the 75 hard, and then they turn around and gain all that way back and then some, because they just went really freaking hard for 75 days.
It's got to be a lifestyle.
Yeah, in that program's great if you can make it a lifestyle. Yeah. Dan did, and it changed his life, but he's been able to regulate afterwards and adapt and everything else. So I've heard just drive to the gym, park outside, listen to the radio for a minute, go home. Because you're stamping in these itty little micro changes to invest every day. But no, it's totally what you want. It's your people, places, and things. So it's improving each one of those. So improving who you're hanging out with. Or is it a good example? Are they great influence? Are they bad influence? You can still love people that are bad influences and not fuck with them. You can still send them a Christmas card and not fuck with them.
Yeah.
So it's people, places, and things. Am I packed up into Legends 5 nights a week?
Yeah.
No. But I'll go down there occasionally and reconnect with some of my people, check on them, play some pull taps.
So there's people that want to change, and then there's some and they don't want to.
And it's self-awareness. It starts with self-awareness. It starts with how are you feeling today in your brain? What can you be around? What can you not be around? What changes do you need to make? But like going back to the cell phones, going back to government assistance, you could get a free cell phone. They're handing out free cell phones like hot meals.
You can.
right?
With internet.
With internet. So what's crazy is now we're in this era where YouTube is the new college for people that can't afford college. So, you know, I tell everyone when they ask how I learned everything, I say YouTube University.
I know I would walk in here
YouTube
and you've always got something on YouTube going on. With your,
YouTube University. Because it's unlimited amount of resources, and fortunately, the most accurate information gets pushed to the top. So,
and people are sharing their knowledge, right, for free.
Right.
So going back to kind of what I was talking about with, you know, share your knowledge, share the things that you have. If you've got something that you want to say, open up, start a YouTube channel. Just start putting out content, you know, and then connect with people, network, and do those things there. I mean, that's one way of getting yourself there. I mean, from the smallest level of like, okay, how do I take one step? What do I do? I mean, there's one. Go on YouTube and just ask a couple different things. I mean, we live in a time where you've got amazing technology. So yes, we have all these problems, right? And all these issues, but you have the ability to make your own way if you are willing to put the time and the effort and the energy in, and not taking it as this giant monumental task that I'm going to do this, but like each day at a time until you get something that you can kind of start stacking wins with.
well, now, like, I'm pretty sure ChatGPT has free versions.
Oh yeah.
So, ChatGPT's AI pulls multiple resources from the internet. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's false. Most likely true if you have it cite the information for you, and you click on the link, make sure it's coming from a source. But literally, yeah, the phone you're given that has the free internet, that has ChatGPT, you could type in, I have $20. $20. What business ideas do you have for me in Richmond, Indiana? So let's just see what it says. So $20 startup. Could you imagine that?
I mean, it could happen.
Boom. Many local businesses don't have strong presence online yet. You could offer a 30-minute promo video plus a social media post service. That's free.
Yeah.
That's, to me, what's in my left hand right now gives me everything I need to know about making a promo video in a social media post about any industry. So if I picked the restaurant industry, so let's just go with Smiley's Pub over here. I'm going to put, so I want to make a 30-second promo video for Smiley's Pub. Give me ideas. So I'm making this like I know nothing about video.
You're just typing it into your phone.
Yeah.
Using a free AI search or AI.
Absolutely. So it should feel local, lively, and authentic, not like a chain ad. You want to capture what makes Smiley's a favorite Richmond hangout spot. Cold drinks, familiar faces, and that small town energy. And then it goes on to say, here are a few directions you can take for concept, flow, and shot ideas. So it literally gives me the entire script, storyboard. It should be warm, cinematic, community driven. It says hook, first 3 seconds. So This is all professional standard knowledge that this is giving me for free right now in real time.
So if you were somebody that was like, you know what, I just want to start creating stuff, you could just, hey, I'm a consumer. I'm just making my own little thing.
Yeah.
And then stay consistent with that.
Yeah, because it goes flow. It gives me the flow of all of the shots. Opening shot, neon sign or beer tap pouring, quick motion of the bar lights coming on. And then it cuts to close-ups of ice hitting the glass, burgers sizzling, and laughter. Voiceover or text overlay. Good food, great people, cold beer. So, I mean, literally, this device in my hand that I could have got for free with a free app gives me free knowledge that I could go film. I could just film this with my phone.
Right. Put it on social media.
And they would probably give me, if I was entry level, like I've never done this before, and I filmed it with my phone, edited it with like CapCut or iMovie, they might give me a free meal. They might give me $50 for this video, right? But and then then I'm starting to build the portfolio. Like I remember when I started with the drone, you know, I remember my first interior real estate photo session. Complete disaster. Everything was blurry, but they still loved the picture somehow. But still, I had something to put in my portfolio,
right?
That hopefully
that was your start.
Got me another job that kept growing. So this is just a really great example of, you know, you don't have to get stuck in that trap of generational. Like, I mean, my parents, they were both hard workers. We were still on government benefits.
Yeah, but so are mine. Shout out to government cheese.
The milk house. My grandma used to pay for milk with a food stamp at the milk house.
It's not a
we're not knocking.
Yeah, the people that are here, you know, by the grace of God, I'm not right there. You know, right. So it's like, and I could be, but it's like, there's opportunity. I think more than anything, just being able to put a message out that there is hope. There is a way to be able to try to dig yourself out, and there's a way to try to stack wins and build momentum and go from there. I mean, even when I got into real estate, you know, 5 years ago now, I was on Facebook Messenger.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. You know, so it's like, you know, I had a corporate job gone, and I just, hey, I'm doing this now, and I stay consistent with it. And that was what I was doing, you know, and it's just, and that's how you know how many times people told me no, you know, I'm like, that's okay. I had people told me, leave me alone. I'm trying to run my own business. I'm like, okay, well, that's okay.
Oh, dude, I've been the new bad dads here in town. Mm-hmm. Right. I hear it's really good.
I've not been yet.
Messaged them once on Facebook Messenger. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, I would love to talk about marketing. We built a site and everything for Firehouse Barbecue and Blues down the street and they read it. They never replied. And then like a week later, they made a social media post looking for a photographer.
Yeah.
And then, so I get tagged in it.
Right.
So all the same thing as the comments, and I DM them again. They read it. Crickets. But then again, if you don't try.
Yeah. And, you know, just continue to try. Keep going after it. And no matter what happens, like,
don't be discouraged.
What are you doing with the rest of your day anyway?
Right.
I mean, that's the thing is like if you're able to wake up, if you're blessed enough to get up, right, and just see the light of day, go try something.
Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah, there comes a time where, like my buddy that I don't know if he's alive right now or not. You got to get out of your own fucking pity party. You absolutely have to, because if you don't want to get out of it, no one can help you out of it. No resource, no amount of free food, no amount of free cell phones, no amount of free anything is going to get you out of it.
Like, you have to want to get out of it. You have to want to climb your way and to get out and to build something, because there is the ability to do it. Even in today's time, you can do it. And, you know, there's opportunity. And there'll be future opportunities.
And it is a mental health. But you have to want to get better. Like, because here's 10 years ago, there was like zero resources for mental health, especially in public safety. You know what they did? You know what they first told me? Call the EAP number that's on the back of this door. I called it one time, and it was like a, please stand by. Please. This phone call is going to last longer than me.
So the resources are better. Well,
but now they're like, yeah, at least in public safety, there's a tremendous amount of resources. They're still lacking because they don't understand it's always a leadership problem for the most part. It's not what you see. It's usually your dictatorship, lack of leadership or whatnot that fucks you up. It's not the dead baby or whatnot. But all of those resources, they don't work unless you want them to.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the theme is you've got to want to do it. But if you're, if the opportunity's there, try to take it. You got one life. Try to do what you can with it.
Well, and at the end of the day, and as we head down this ramp, what's just really cool is everyone needs to realize, like these small businesses today that gave out all that food, and they are paying a ton in tax dollars to the federal government. Yeah. And then the federal government's like, we might be open today, we might not be open today, but we're still going to take your tax money. And then they're the ones that has created this broken, corrupt system with this Medicaid and everything else. At the end of the day, we just have to remember those people that can set aside all of their ill feelings, all of their opinions, all of their hatred, and still give to the community and see the community as a whole. And like you said, support these small businesses, these small mom and pops. Go eat there, because a lot of times they're struggling because of inflation, food, products, and everything else. So, and with inflation increasing close to 50% since 2009, and minimum wage staying at $7.25. I was just like, gosh.
It's
when I looked this up, it is mind blowing. And so I'm like, I sent you these notes.
Yeah.
I went down a rabbit hole tremendously of like, how can people be involved? And basically, you can bug the hell out of your state legislator, your Senate, and they've all been in the studio too. But bug the hell out of them and get policies created, and so this can get into law at a local level, because I do think it's state by state. If I might be incorrect on that, but I do think it's state by state, the minimum wage. But get that law created. And I think that's one great first step. Now, there's to every change, there's a repercussion. So it's basically going to be like the lesser of the whatnot. You will have a lot of if minimum wage got increased 50%, like the cost of living, almost $15 an hour.
Everything else is going to go.
Then these corporations are just going to jack everything up and try to move everything out of country. So then federal government needs to come in and scream about tariffs again. And
it's not a simple solution.
No, it's not.
But I think, putting your faith in leaders that are, obviously working out for special interest in a lot of occasions. Now, there are some that, are obviously trying to fight the good fight for those, but, put your faith in the good Lord, put your faith in each other. Continue to look for opportunities, try to take care of one another, be kind. I mean, those are all great things. And someone's going to be sitting back anonymous. Well, you're not doing anything to do.
Yeah,
what are you? Can you ignore that?
Old number.
You have to. It's just, that's fine. Look, you're not going to please everybody. You're not going to save everybody that goes through that. It's not going to happen. But what you can do is you can try to speak positive. You can try to put, good energy out there into the world when you're around others. Encourage. Have a chance, have a platform. I'm sure, if somebody wants to come up and talk, they could reach out to you and what they want to talk about.
Yeah, and I like being enlightened. I like being educated.
No, I mean, why would you want to?
Today was like a whole huge learning curve, like the whole day, because I'm like researching all of this.
Yeah. And this thing is going to change. I mean, if this shutdown continues, we're going to see more and more things. We just don't. There's going to be more things that are a ripple effect of it, and it's just it's the cycle of life. It's the cycle of the economy. It's the cycle of everything that we're in.
Yeah, it is, and it could get worse before it gets better, especially at the federal level. So I think these small businesses and supporting small businesses and building community, and then we have everything downtown, the revitalized Richmond. You're going to see a mass influx of apartments and people and businesses just in this little 5-block radius in the next few years. I think by building community and pulling us tighter and tighter together, and not going on rants, battling each other.
Right.
I think we'll be able to kind of protect each other and kind of support each other as federal falls apart.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it gets figured out. But I think the two-party system, we are our own worst enemy.
We'll see changes. I'm optimistic that, I'm an eternal optimist in the fact that I think that something will be better on the horizon. There'll be more. We've talked about the cycles of life and how things change in governments and countries and leadership and things like that. And we're in that. We're in a generational change. We're in a change with the largest generation is getting older and passing on. You have another generation that's coming in that's was taught a different way growing up. They collaborate differently. So, that's going to be a big change that comes in.
Life Unscripted with Kevin Shook.